I wanted to do a quick stock market update. Like I said, you got to follow the money because the world follows money and they worship money. It's a $90 bill, and God we trust, the dog, all that right way. So that's fine. And I do have a little bit of cash that I'd recovered from my former divorce, a last bit of funds that I'm trying to use for this mission for the Father and Lord. So, and every penny is going to help me. I'm not going to use it for any squabbling things like that to help me on this mission and keep myself going forward. So I'm running tight on cash again, my friends. And so anyway, so it's not about me. So let me just go ahead and go forward with this, okay? The last couple of weeks I made mistakes because I got busy, stuck up there in Mammoth and Bishop, and I had a nightmare, right? So I was trying to survive, so I wasn't paying attention to the market close enough. So my funds were up and down. And it was just, I was getting destroyed some days, but I just let it sit there, right? But don't do that because I had decay. I was using TZA, the 3 times short on the Russell, and all this other stuff. You don't want to pay that decay, right? So because it decays on you every day, that even though it's ETF, it still has decay because they work through options and stuff like that. So anyway, so just take this as not financial advice. Just tell them what I'm doing and what I'm thinking here, because I told everybody that it was going to run up into the elections. They held it up though. They shot up higher. I was like, you gotta be kidding! Never seen any action like that. I told you it was record historical run up that they pulled on any gap ups and everything like that, right? Well, anyway. So then after the elections, I was like, well, they're going to pull it back again. But you got to be careful in here because they're going to try to run up for the Santa Claus rally. They're already getting their Fed mongrels ready to come in and probably do some kind of fakery head maneuvers on you to get you in those Black Friday sales in stores, right? And then they try to do their annual Santa Claus rally, okay? So if you do these shorts on the market, you got to be very quick in and out. It's always dangerous, but you're better off waiting till February when they can't return your goods to the stores, and that way they can let the leverage come undone. Let the market move. But anyway, so you want to put. I like to trade outside the edges right now. So what I did was I sold some of my TZA and I moved it into the ultra gas, the cold. Though yeah, short. I'm already up. It was down right here. It says 12.5%. It ain't much. That's 2% move, my friends, because I got in around 14 to 15% when it's down. And it's got a gap down. So anyway, so that's my trade that I'm saying for short term. Get in there. I even talked to a guy who he's very knowledgeable. He's actually lived in Colorado for years, but also worked in Alaska and Canada. So he is very familiar. This guy has inside tracks. He's worked on fracking industry. He's running big equipment, and this guy knows what he's talking. So I didn't even tell him. I called him talking this morning. And I said, so what do you think about that? I didn't put a trade in. I said, what do you think about natural gas? And he immediately goes, well, I hope you're short in natural gas. Those prices are too high, bud. He said, it's coming undone, man. It's going to unwind now. And so he gave all these reasons. One is because the season is over, and it costs so much to liquefy any more natural gas. And most everybody's got their storage tanks full. That's number one. Number two is because he said, they cleared the way now. Biden's out of the elections are over. That's out of the way, and so Pelosi's gone. So the protection on trying to keep trying to push the green, because they're trying to push it into their green pockets, so their friends agree, the green money, right? To put in the green pockets all this green technology. Not saying it's not a bad thing, because I'm all for it to be better for this God this world gave us in nature, but they only make the move because they're trying to pocket. They don't care about this world. They're trying to make money to the green. So that whole play is now they can actually. They're gonna pull back on that so that they can let natural gas and oil prices come down, because you got to realize Trump's in the pocket now for elections, and if they don't try to pull back a little bit, then Trump's going to use that as a weapon coming forward, saying, look, your gas price is still high and this and that, and all these other things, right? So they're gonna have to pull back even oil to some extent, not as much as oil's not gonna probably pull back as much as natural gas. Natural gas, and also you have a seasonal thing with natural gas that it cycles. Like I said, they've already stored up their storage tanks. So January, February, springtime, they don't need the storage. It's more seasonal than oil. Oil and gas, petroleum tends to have a more regular, stable industry. You got airlines, everything's in the jet fuel range. They keep on using that year round, right? Natural gas is going to be cyclical, and usually they try to alleviate through the options. But I'm telling you what, it's coming down, the price. Okay. Now, I can't guarantee that. Like I said, everything I say, take from a grain of salt. But I'm telling you, that's the trade I put on KOLD. Get in there. And so that's the trade going on. Inflation's still going to be an issue. What else? Yeah, you can short the market in here, and I'll try to show that in a minute. But let's look at this, for example. Let's do this. I don't know if it's going to do a full screen on this on my phone because I don't have it wide open. I should have done that better. But this is the KOD. I'm trying to show you what you want to shoot for because I didn't care about news. Remember, I'm a pattern trader. And darn, I have to change this to bar. Sorry about that. Change this to bar. Here we go. Let's try to squash this out again. Here's what we got. Oh, this is beautiful trade. Okay, now here's the thing is I don't like, is that a triple bottom, a double bottom? I don't like the off the band here. So I'm looking here, I'm gonna show you what I'm looking at here. So I'm gonna draw this. So right here you have what's a double bottom. Those tend to hold though, but you gotta be careful because this is, remember, this is the opposite. So those tend to break. Nothing ever stops at a double bottom usually. And what else we had here? We had a huge volume here on the stick. When they recovered this, and they shut it way up there, right? So that's why they had to come back and fill that gap. Let me show you. See? Here's what's the gap I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, my finger. Okay, here, let me try to get this. See that gap right there between, oh, it's terrible. See that gap, that hole there? Call it a gap. And every gap must be filled. So they came back and they filled the gap there, and then they bounced it up again. And so now, guess what? We got a perfect gap on the way back up. See this gap right here? Oh, oh my gosh. We got this gap today right there. See that gap? Oh my gosh, sorry my friends. Well, there's a gap there, right? So that gap has to be filled. So we're trading down here. So even if they try to punch down here and break that double bottom, I can hold on. How long we have, we don't know, but that gap is going to be filled. Guarantee it. So natural gas is going to come down, which brings this thing up because remember, this is an inverse, right? And guess what? We even have a gap. I just noticed something. Oh, you are kidding me. There's a gap up there, and there is a blow off the top. Now, blow off the tops are hard to get, but I'm telling you, this move is probably going to be, we're going to see all the way up here to 25, 27 range, whatever that is. Let's see if I don't know if I can get that. Let's take this off. What is that range there? Is it, what's it, does it tell me? 25, I'm trying to find the bottom of that. You want to take that bottom candle out. See, 25, wait, what is that? Sorry, I'm trying to, sorry friends. 20, low was 22.86. So maybe you're going to see probably 23. No, that's a 20. That's not wrong. Why is it giving that weird number then? It should be the one before that's 20. Wow, no. God, what is going on here? 23.7. Well, anyway, it's going to be around 26, 25.50, somewhere in there. That gap's going to be filled. I'm talking about this right here, the bottom of that candle. Someday, boy, that's a big move. But you got to realize there's decay, though, in ETF, so you might not get a complete gap fill. Just be careful because there's been decay by the time this thing was held to here. So you might be coming back up in here somewhere that you got to be careful, right? Because like I said, there's decay on these things that it naturally, if it's normal stable, like a S&P 500 ETF, it makes sure that filled that all the way there when you're on that line, okay? So, but anyway, on the short term though, see that's what's good. In the short term, we got that gap fill right there. And right there, it's going to get filled. Right there, that gap. That's a beautiful one. And then the secondary one, you got to see what happens here, right? I haven't put in moving averages, but I'm going to need to do that. Okay, and we're already seeing some buying in here. I mean, it looks like it's it's coming down here. That volume's not bad. We're seeing some accumulation actually. It's not panic. This was accumulation. That sucker right there, they watched everybody. See that big red stick? That's why it did a down. It's called a doji, right? It comes down and rebound. That is a beautiful sign. That stick here. So now they're coming back and testing that, which is going to be interesting because we're like I said, there's no such thing as a double bottom. So, but we'll worry about that in the future. I'm thinking the short term, that gap being filled. So probably what you're going to see is gap filled up and probably move up here, maybe come back down. I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. Because if you get a big runoff in news, boy, that thing's coming all the way up here and it's going to take out that other gap even up there. Okay? But one day at a time, right? One day at a time, sweet Jesus. All right. Let's see what else we got here. There is one thing that also a cautionary thing that I'm trying to watch out. You have an M pattern, but it should have been more days here. What I mean, M pattern is not usually a good sign for going along. See the M like this? That is actually a dangerous sign for us. But what happens in M is that it should retrace into it up here a little bit before it comes back and takes it out. So the risk reward, you got to remember, is we're doing patterns. So you got an M pattern there, but see, you should have more sticks over here and more over here. So even here, it might level out to make that M a little bit more complete, right? But anyway, so you got to be careful in the M. We got to watch the M because if it breaks those M's down, it's going to be here. But like I said, usually you get an M retrace where it'll come up in here a little bit And we'll have to watch. If it spikes up, then we're probably pretty good. It's going to eject that M pattern. But if it kind of like trails out and the angle, and then it could actually come out and get lower on us. Okay, let's see if there's any other patterns we saw here. Yeah, see, you kind of had an M pattern there a little bit. It's kind of wobbly M. See how it came down? And that's what it did. But it didn't even retrace. That's a somewhat retrace. But anyway, but that's looking for a W pattern. See, a reverse of an M. Let's see if we can find a W pattern here. I don't know. I'm not seeing any right off the bat. Anyway, so that's that. Let's go ahead and switch to the IWM, real quick here, because I'm trying to get a market sensitive thing while I'm doing this. IWM, see what kind of patterns it's got in play. I wish I had all my numbers. I got a new phone here, so I don't have. It doesn't have. So for some reason, it didn't transfer. It should have been retained through the through my data. It must have been cached or something. The settings for this Why is it taking so long? You gotta be kidding me. Let's just get an IWM. There you go. IWM is a Russell 2000. Okay, let's get this. Let's see if I can change. Let's go ahead and go in there full screen. Let's see. We got about, what looks like about 16 minutes before market close. Oh, there you can see the W pattern I was talking about right here. I'll just show you right off the bat here. See this, how it does W? And it does the same thing. It retraces just the opposite M. See how it retraced in here a little bit to the W? And then it launched and went up here. See, that's that. So that's the opposite of M. So you had a W pattern. So see, this makes a perfect W. And usually what W did is, so I can see how I'm going to draw on it to show the W. Then it'll retrace and then it'll launch again. And that's what they pulled, right? That's the maneuver they pulled. And I'm not seeing an M pattern or anything like that. But what you have here is you have this gap right, that nasty gap they try to pull on everybody. That blew my mind. Ridiculous. They pumped the futures. Ridiculous. I've never seen a gap like this. That gap right there, that gap, that sucker is going to be filled. So Russell, you're safe in the S&P 500. All the indexes other than the Dow will be moving down here to test this line here. See? So this market is going to come down and smack that. And now, they probably, hopefully, the sooner the better, actually, the market wants to do that. That way they can start their Santa Claus rally. Because if they start doing this good, and then you start wondering, well, is that Santa Claus rally going to be there? Because they're going to leave that gap open, and that's going to be a nightmare for folks, right? So that gap is going to be filled. So that's why I'm holding some TZA, because, you know, the broader market versus the natural gas is going to come down around that area to fill that gap. Well, actually, you want just the tip of the candle usually. But we'll see how it plays, because sometimes they'll dip through it just to wash everybody out, right? Let's see what else we got here. I need to bring up my moving averages because it bounced off the 200 perfectly. I think at least the S&P 500. It's probably the 200-day moving where I hit that candle there. And I'll do that later and try to see what the moving averages are. I guarantee that was a 200 move in there or something, because the S&P 500. So then we got to see where the back support is. Is it 200? Is it the 400 or 500, or where's that next support level, right? But for now, with the support level, even what those moving averages are, that gap has to be filled right there. That's coming right there. And also, you got a shortened holiday week, so volume will tend to slow down here, and they don't want to surprise the boys in the boys in Wall Street. So on a short week like this, you got to kind of be a little bit caution, and then you get the bull crap reports. You'll get everything they can. You know, have the mom and pop survey, you know, how it was retail sales, and they'll use that to move the market. It's like those have no validity whatsoever. So you normally have your normal, economic news report, but now they'll say, well, we checked with Target stores and tried to see what they're doing, and we checked with they did the retail numbers through an unofficial thing, and then they said foot traffic. They have somebody trying to monitor the foot traffic coming to malls. You got to be kidding me, folks. Think about just that for a minute. You know, just because you got people walking out of a door doesn't mean that there's any sales or how it sells. Maybe everybody's just buying toothbrushes, even maybe a 1% margin. The foot traffic numbers, all this other garbage, trying to create the Santa Claus rally, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's all bull crap. Anyway, so there's the move right now. All right, God bless and love you.